What's up, guys? Kyle here again, and today we're going to talk about something that we don't normally talk about on this channel. 5150 amps. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take awesome high gain amps, overdrives, cabinets, guitars, pickups. I record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. The reason that I'm telling you this is because many people who follow my channel know that I am a massive fan of the 5150 or 6505 amp series, whether it be the Peavey stuff or the 5150 stuff. I really truly love it all, and I think it's literally the best possible time to be a fan of not only guitar gear in general, but of the 5150 style amps. Between Peavey and Fender, we have just an absolute ridiculous amount of choices, whether it be stuff that we can buy new off the shelf, which is a little tough right now because of availability issues, or if it's stuff on the used market. There are millions and millions of these amps available, and you can usually jump on Reverb, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and find whatever model you're looking for at pretty much any given time. But really the reason for this video today is last weekend, I broke some leaked news that Peavey is going to be releasing a new 6505 series called the 1992 Original Series. If you guys haven't seen that video with all the information about those amps, I will link it here. But essentially with that new series, they are basically trying to come as close as possible to recreating the magic of the 5150 block letters. Now, if you followed my channel for a long time or you know anything about 5150s, you will know that the 5150 block letter is the same as the signature model. They just shipped with different power tubes from the factory, and unfortunately over the years that has created all sorts of myths, legends, forum arguments, and battles to the death over whether the EVH block letter is the same as the signature model, and on top of that, whether either of those are the same as the 6505 model. Here's a little hint. They're all the same. But really, I think that this is a very smart business move on Peavey's behalf because, let's face it guys, Peavey does not have the best reputation in the industry anymore. Of course, a lot of things have happened over the last 10 years or so that has really caused that. One of the issues is they have moved production over to China, which many people take a major issue with. I am not one of them, but I understand that a lot of people have a big issue with this. On top of that, with the Invective, they released an awesome amp that everybody was excited for, but there were all sorts of issues around the release of that amp as well, including it being delayed time and time again, and then having a terrible availability once it was finally released, and then issues with the origin of the manufacturer of the amp. So long story short, Peavey has kind of just dug themselves a PR hole, unfortunately, and they really kind of need to act drastically at this point in order to get themselves out of that hole. So within the last year and a half, there has been a massive resurgence in popularity of not only the block letter, but just the 5150 and the 5152 models. Their prices have skyrocketed on the used market. They have doubled, in certain cases tripled. The block letter is just ridiculously expensive. The signature models are now selling for over $1,000, and the 5152 is hovering around $1,000. Those used to be amps that you could get $400 to $600 all day long on the used market. That is no longer the case. That is no longer what they are worth. They are now worth whatever the market is pricing and selling them at, which is $1,500 for a block letter, $1,200 for a signature, $1,000 for a 5152. But Peavey has caught on to this. They have realized that there has been a massive resurgence in popularity of the older models. The 65 and 6505 Plus have not had any sort of update or facelift to them since they became the 6505. So we're talking 16 years that those amps have basically been the same without any sort of change. The only difference is they moved production over to China sometime in the 2010s. And really their reputation just isn't that great anymore because of all the things that I have already mentioned. But with the 1992 Original Series, Peavey aims to basically bring the 6505 back to the block letter glory. There's going to be a couple component upgrades. The power transformer is going to be the same one that they used in the Peavey Invective, which was based off of the best possible power transformer that they could find out of all the examples of the 5150 that they had in their possession. So basically the 6505 is getting a slight internal upgrade, and facially or visibly or cosmetically is the word that I was looking for. Cosmetically, they are going to kind of be restored back to that original 5150 look, where they're going to have the Peavey Delta logo they're going to have 6505 in that kind of block font. And then over on the edge will be Hartley Peavey's signature. And then down where it would say EVH in block letters on the original 5150, it now says 1992 original in block letters. Really, overall, even myself as a 6505, 5150 fan, not a whole lot to be excited about there. I'm still going to play it and I'm still going to hope for the best, and I'm sure that it's going to deliver because it's basically the same amp that we've been playing for the last 30 years, and there's really nothing wrong with that. But overall, it's really nothing new. It's more of a facelift and a rebrand than anything. Enter Fender or EVH gear on the other side of the equation, where they have released a very polarizing new model. Well, they haven't released it, but they've announced it and put it up for pre-order. The 5150 Iconic, which I have a video talking about the 5150 Iconic as well, which I will link above. The 5150 Iconic is essentially supposed to be a budget or an entry-level 5150 option. The prices on even the 50-watt 5153 Fender models, God, I don't want to say this all video. The price on the EVH 5150s has slowly been climbing up. Along with everything else, the prices on everything are going up, so you cannot fault EVH for that. But really, I think that they wanted to not only introduce a new design, which might be exciting to some people because there are definitely some differences in circuitry, stuff that we've never seen in 5150 amps before, but it also gives a new budget option for those who don't have the money to spend $1,300 to $1,400 on a new 50 watt, aren't comfortable buying used amps. There's still a market for people who love to buy new gear, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, the Iconic is aimed at the lower budget end of the tube market as it stands right now. Now, does that mean it's going to be a crappy amp? I personally don't think so. I've got a lot of faith in James Brown and his ability to design amplifiers. Another thing to note, the 5150 Iconic features 4 6L6 power tubes, but is only rated for 80 watts. That leads me to believe that maybe those power transformers will be not quite as big and beefy as we're used to from the 5150 series, but again, that's pure speculation. I don't really know what to make of that at this point, and that's just kind of where my mind goes. It's yet to be seen, as nobody has really seen them in the wild or been able to play them yet. So we've got two different options here. And while Peavey hasn't stated a price for the 1992 original series, I can't imagine that it'll be much more or any more than the current production 6505s. So I would think $1,000 to $1,200 brand new for an all-tube amplifier made in China versus the 5150 Iconic, which is going to be a hybrid preamp section, 80 watt power section, tube amp, also made in China for $900. Now that's an introductory price. I don't know if it's gonna stay at $900. I pre-ordered mine at $900, but only time will tell what Peavey will price theirs at, and if the Iconic will go up after it's been released for a little while. I just punched my mic. So yeah, as a 5150 fan, I am really excited about this. And truthfully, I'm excited that there are two different companies who are allowed to make this circuit or style of circuit. There's no disputing that the 5150 circuit is an absolute classic when it comes to metal. It has been ever since it's been released, and we keep getting new updated versions of it, whether it be from Peavey or from Fender or EVH. And now it actually kind of seems as if they're competing with each other for the same market segments. So what does that mean for you and I as the consumer? That means that we all win. Because if you've got two companies that are competing for your hard-earned money to cover that same ground in the market, that just means that they're going to be upping their game to make the best product possible in order to get your money and my money. So really, we all win, because that means that it's going to force both EVH and Peavey to tweak their designs, to update their stuff in order to get our attention, in order to attract us as consumers. I have absolutely no issue with that. I think it's a great business move on Peavey's part to release this 1992 original series, especially when Fender had generated a lot of news with the 5150 Iconic series. I personally am excited for both amps, and while my heart kind of lives with Peavey because I absolutely love Peavey gear, I actually think the Iconic is a little bit more exciting because it's something that we haven't seen from the 5150 series before, which is a hybrid preamp section. Now, a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. Again, myself, I do not care what is under the hood as long as it sounds, feels, plays great. That's all that I care about. So as long as the sound that comes out of that speaker cabinet is absolutely fantastic, I do not care that it is a hybrid preamp section. All I care about is how good does it sound, how does it feel under my fingers, and long term, how good is the reliability going to be? I absolutely do not subscribe to the idea that everything built in China is crap If you do, that's fine. This video is not going to be an argument about that. The quality of anything manufactured in China really comes down to the company who contracts the manufacturing site in China to make their items, what standard of quality they're going to hold that to, the components that the company picks themselves to be put into their product. There's so many things that go into it. Basically what I'm getting at is there are levels to quality no matter where you manufacture, and it really comes down to the company who is contracting it and how much money they want to put into not only quality components, but quality control. So keep that in mind. But yeah, with that being said, it's an extremely exciting time to be a 5150 or 6505 fan. We've got so many cool options and they just keep growing. We just keep getting more and more options. There are actually a couple of more amps that I know that are going to be hitting the market sometime here in the near future that I can't talk about, but they're just going to be even more options. And we, as guitarists, especially if you're a 5150 fan, we are living in the absolute greatest time possible for these amplifiers because we have more options than anybody probably ever dreamed of back in 93, 94, 95 when these amps were really becoming popular. So what I want to know is, which one are you guys most excited for? Are you going to go after the Peavey 1992 original series? Or are you going to go after the 5150 Iconic? Or are you perfectly happy with the amps that you have now? Because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. But really, this video is directed at those who are excited about these new amps like I am. I want to know which ones you guys are most looking forward to, which ones that you are more likely to order, and why. Let me know down in the comments and I'll meet you guys down there to chat about it. With that being said, that's going to do it for me today, guys. If you would, please go down in the description of this video. I have a Sweetwater affiliate link. If you guys click on that and get yourself anything nice from Sweetwater within the next couple of weeks, I get a little kickback and it greatly helps this channel grow. Also consider visiting my Patreon page and supporting the channel that way. Consider being a part of the Belligerent Amateur community by joining my Discord server and my Facebook group, also linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.